and Lawrence Jackson.
He's like a young Jay Croucher, Nick Sirianni.
Yeah.
Like, he does not care what people think about him.
Never been liked.
Probably ruins movies. Doesn't care.
Plays into the villain.
Plays into the villain. Wears the black hat.
You yell spoilers to Jay Croucher, they will keep coming.
1,000%.
No,
I love it.
Geno Smith is probably going to win Comeback Player of the Year. Nick Sirianni should win. His personality should win Comeback Coach of the Year. Where was this last year? All of a sudden now he's like an amazing content machine.
Well, now he's winning.
Yeah,
now he's feeling good.
Be the best team, it helps, you know?
Yeah, exactly. You got the #1 seed. You can talk the talk.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what we're going to start with right here is the Eagles against the 49ers in the NFC Championship. Because I don't really want to start with the Jets hiring Nathaniel Hackett as the offensive coordinator. So I'm going to swerve right out of the way before.
I like the fact that not only did you skipped that. You skipped that news. You skipped introducing Lawrence Jackson.
No, I
didn't. Skipped introducing Matthew Berry. You didn't. No, you were. You didn't.
No, he introduced us all. You missed it.
Did it not?
3 against 1. You don't even listen to my intro?
don't.
Come on,
Matthew.
intro.
I don't.
I don't expect you to listen to my takes, my bets,
Weird.
fantasy,
No.
the intro.
No, you know what I am? I'm a freaking TV monkey. I sit there and I blah 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 Matthew, and then I talk, right? And I just and then I wait and then I hear my name again, and then I talk. I'm a freaking monkey. So I don't want to
hear one introduction. You missed 3. You did all of it.
You didn't even hear your own name.
Look, maybe I'm just proud that it took me all season, but I finally learned all of your names. How about that?
Wow.
Maybe and it was just like, I'm thinking to myself, okay, that's right. He's Lawrence. Which one of these is Jay? Jay.
Because it's hard to tell. You
Right,
know what I'm
exactly.
saying?
I understand.
You mix them up with Little John for a while there, too.
We all look the same, talk the same. Throw Little John in there, too.
There we go. It just keeps coming around.
Exactly.
So
I knew Little John.
Yeah. You sure about that?
Yeah.
Instagram did not.
Yeah. 100%. We're tight, him and I. We're old buddies. All right. Nathaniel Hackett is now the offense coordinator of your New York Jets. So both of your guys, New York Jets. You're sitting there. You're
Titans
wearing
of New York.
the Titans
Yes.
of New York.
We got a new
Nathaniel
Titan in
Hackett
town.
is the new Titan of New York. Your thoughts?
Real simple. If this leads to Aaron Rodgers, like the Broncos had hoped for last year, home run hire.
Right.
If it doesn't, terrible hire.
Right.
We're going to keep it that condensed right now.
Do you want Aaron Rodgers? Do you want that life? I guess.
Have you seen who the Jets have played a quarterback for the last, I don't know, my entire existence?
It's a more wholesome existence. Losing without Aaron
like
Rodgers.
rooting for the Josh McCowns of the world and Sam Darnold.
Exactly.
That's
Ryan
fair.
Fitzgerald.
That's a fair
It'll
count.
be fun, though. It'll be fun. Definitely interesting. Because now he'll have some players again, you know, on both sides of the ball. So now he could really talk his stuff now if you get with the Jets. We'll see.
You know, I wonder if Nathaniel Hackett's like big. You know, I don't know. I've never met the guy in my life, but I wonder if like his whole thing is just sort of like he lets Aaron Rodgers do whatever he wants.
That's
like,
exactly it. That is exactly it.
Like so, it's just like he wants. You know, it's a little bit like when you were a kid and like can Shelly babysit? Sure. Because Shelly's going to be on her phone the whole time, and you can just go to town.
5 gallons ice cream.
Yeah, exactly. 1,000%.
That is Aaron Rodgers under Nathaniel Hackett.
Yeah,
it is well known.
Yeah.
Everybody talks about he loves him so much. They never say why. Is it his offensive creativity?
Right, yeah, exactly.
Is it something with his mechanics?
Right.
No, he just loves him.
Just loves him.
He's like, hey, Aaron,
because he gets
check any play at the line of scrimmage you want.
That's right. He gets to stay up past his bedtime, watch R-rated movies, and eat as much ice cream as he wants. Of course. There you go.
I think Hackett has found this incredible inefficiency where it seems like teams are just hiring him because maybe Aaron Rodgers will come. So after the Jets get Jimmy Garoppolo instead of Aaron Rodgers, then next year Nathaniel Hackett goes to Atlanta, and maybe Aaron Rodgers will come to Atlanta.
Raises the question.
Shown around.
What happens when Aaron Rodgers retires?
Yeah, then he's done.
Well, then his career's over. But he's made millions.
I was just going to say, welcome my co-host, Nathaniel Hackett.
Hackett, along with
exactly.
Yeah.
Drinking.
It makes you wonder, is Aaron Rodgers going with Nathaniel Hackett? Is that the new friends with Sean McVay?
Oh, maybe. That might
we're
be.
kind of
That's
reaching
a good
that point.
call. That's a great call, actually. That's right. Like I once took a picture with Sean McVay, and I actually got 3 coordinator interviews.
Yeah.
Right.
You came close, too.
I came close. I got a cup of coffee.
Let me know where to sign up for these because I need to get some of them interviews too. I want to do me some coordinating on some of these teams.
Okay. Fantastic. Well, listen. What is it? 15 coordinators have now been. There's now 15 coordinator openings.
Oh yeah, plenty to go around. Plenty to go around.
Your commanders. Lawrence calling plays for.
I'll go with
we'll see who's under center. Sam Howell.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind.
Not into that one, huh?
No. Well, we young quarterback, rookie. We see, let me just do the mini camp with him. Then if it ain't nothing, then when training camp comes, I'm good. Right before training camp, I'm out of there.
He has an out clause. He can come back to the happy hour
yeah.
if training camp doesn't go.
Keep my seat warm here.
Right.
All right, let's get into Eagles
What kind of
Niners.
coordinating would you do? Pretend Jay's a quarterback. Just coordinate him for a second. Just coach him up.
Can you hand off the ball?
You're damn right I can handle
I'm
the
gonna need
ball.
some running backs. I'm gonna need the best line in it. I might have to go back and get Nate Newton. Put him next to Trent Williams. Anything so Jay ain't gonna have to throw the ball. We just want to run. We gonna run wishbone offense.
Brian Robinson's gonna be really tired next year. Yeah,
he ready.
Yeah, he's gonna be really, really tired.
How soon is too soon to fire Lawrence as the offense coordinator?
He doesn't have the job yet. And he's already in the hot
Depends
seat.
who my quarterback is. That's
Okay.
what
Right.
All
I think we have Nathaniel Hackett Jr. over here. Just like, throw what you want.
That's not fair.
Throw what you want.
The strategy's sound, though. It's what I do on this
Well,
show.
this hasn't failed
Yeah.
yet. No.
All right.
Nathaniel
All right. Anyway, we all think Nathaniel Hackett's going to be a disaster in New York unless he gets
Aaron
Rodgers. In which case, it'll be fine. All will be fine.
Eagles Niners, boys.
Yes, let's go.
That's where we start. We started with Nick Sirianni, who's playing into the villain like no other, which I definitely respect. I know Jay can't get enough of it because it's his clone.
Like a betting Australian.
Look, Barry, let's start with you. Actually,
Okay, sure, fine.
Surprise
Let's start
here,
with me. Why
because
not?
this is your ride or die.
It is.
This is your ride or die.
We want to talk Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts priced at $7,200 on DraftKings. That is his salary, obviously on the higher end, especially when you compare it to the other quarterback in this game, Brock Purdy, at $5,300. What are your expectations for Jalen Hurts against one of the best defenses in the NFL under DeMeco Ryans?
Yeah, I mean, it just feels like this is a low-scoring game, and I get that he has the rushing upside, but just feels like you're better off. I mean, when you sit there and you look at, I mean, again, we're talking DraftKings scoring here. When you're sitting here looking at Hurts versus Joe Burrow, who's $400 cheaper, and gets to face against a Kansas City's defense that gave up the most touchdown passes in the regular season, and a team that he's played well against in the past. It's hard to argue for Hurts against a Niners defense that allows the fifth fewest fantasy points per game to quarterbacks in the regular season, unless you're going somewhat contrarian in a tournament play. Because I don't think Hurts is going to be a popular tournament play pick. I do feel like a lot of people in DFS will be looking towards the Kansas City Chiefs game. You'll see a lot of Burrow and Mahomes, especially when you consider Mahomes is highest on the slate at 7,600. He's got the bum ankle. Just sort of feels like you either go cheap with Brock Purdy at 5,300, or you're going with Burrow. So all that said, Jalen Hurts is my ride or die. Let's just talk about. So, I mean, it's two things. How do I think he plays in this game, and then do I think he's worth the price in a DFS matchup? I think given the other options, I think I'd rather save the $400 and go with Burrow. But do I think Jalen Hurts has a good game here? I do. Do I think the Eagles win this game? I do. I think they'll be up, and I think they'll be trying to move the ball actually through the air. To me, that's the way.
Yes.
They haven't been able to run. The teams haven't been able to run against San Francisco, but their secondary has been susceptible. I mean, CeeDee Lamb had over 100 yards in a game in which Dak Prescott played horribly last week. I mean, again, and if he hits Michael Gallup in stride, that's another 50 yards or something like that. So I do think Hurts will be successful in this game. So I think he has a good game. Like him, just again, you have to put it relative to price.
One quote on Jalen Hurts on his shoulder. He said, "I felt better, but it doesn't really matter. Got to get it done." So Hurts obviously healthy enough to play in a massive, massive game. But
I said that to my wife last night. Literally said that to my wife.
Got to
last
get
night.
it done was
Gotta
the
get it
final
done.
line.
Got to get it done.
with the lights
I was
off.
just
With the
gonna
lights
go
off.
there.
The lights off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's 1,000%. Yeah, of course. Obviously.
You can't make the club in the tub.
No, you
can't keep
make
the wife happy in the tub.
Can't make the club in the tub. 100%.
Yeah, there you go.
It's like
be
let's
fully stretched.
1,000%.
Warmed up.
Rub some dirt on it. Let's get out there.
You came on to set in a great mood this morning. Yeah,
Dude,
that's how
You were
we
3
know.
minutes early.
Yeah.
I was like, what is he doing? You have plenty of time.
plenty of time.
You're just wasting all this time.
Yeah. Well, I had a pre-show meeting.
Oh.
I had a pre-show meeting with my producers.
Oh.
You know why? Because we got the Miz coming up.
We do have The Miz coming up. Should have led with that.
Of course, WWE's Royal Rumble is this Saturday on Peacock. Of course, I'm a company man, and the Miz is joining us later in the show, and so wanted to talk about what we're going to talk to the Miz about. Miz, by the way, a huge he's obviously a superstar, but he is a massive fantasy football player as well. So I'm looking forward to that conversation.
If you were in the Royal Rumble, what would your entrance music be that everybody goes, oh, that's Matthew Berry walking down the aisle into the Royal Rumble?
I think Let It Go from Frozen. Obviously,
that'd be good. You catch him off guard.
Catch him off guard.
Yeah,
Huge pop from the crowd.
I was looking around and it's just like, let it go, let it go.
It'd be interesting to see.
Cold doesn't bother me anyway. It's just like
I'm sorry, guys.
It'd be
I should
interesting
not
to
have
see
done that.
coming out with that song. It'd be interesting to see what kind of costume you would have too.
Right? Yeah. Fair enough. Fair enough. What should my entrance music be? What do you?
I think it should be Let It Go.
Yeah, the slowest walk down ever.
The slowest walk down ever.
The Royal Rumble would be over by the time you got to the ring.
Just something unexpected. It would have to be something obviously jokey, something like, Can You Feel the Love Tonight from Lion King? That'd be pretty good as well.
Your thing is like you're not going to win, and you're not going to win straight up. So you got to get unconventional.
Got to go
play
totally
mind
weird.
Tricks. Yeah, you're like the Seahawks going into San Francisco.
Maybe, exactly. Maybe like Straight Up by Paul Abdul. I don't know. Something.
Let's keep going. Keep reaching into the back.
Just something.
Paul Abdul.
Something crazy.
Yeah, Control Room definitely wants to kill me for getting this off
In
track there. I
Excess.
apologize. All right.
Oh yeah, the Australian chorus In Excess. In Excess has 3 good songs. By the way,
true. Yeah.
There are 3 good songs.
Yeah, they don't go deep. They're like
they have like 3. I have 3 In Excess songs on my iPhone right now.
Yeah. Never tear us apart.
The 3 of them.
You done got this man going.
I know.
He WWE champion now.
Yeah. Kyle Pitts video round 2.
You know what? Mark my words, Lawrence Jackson. I will make my way. Some way, somehow, I will weasel my way onto a WWE broadcast.
I do not doubt that.
No, neither do.
I don't doubt that at all.
I will, absolutely. And I will, and so a lot of people really, and I think my goal is, because you see it here every day on this show, but my goal is to get my ass kicked on as many NBC platforms as possible, right? Here it's just mentally. But I think, whether it's, on USA or Peacock or whatever, just, physically and mentally.
Yeah, you would get put through a table, just warning you.
Obviously. By the way, we would put that out on Twitter for charity. Like, who wants to put me through a table?
No.
We might be able to cure cancer.
We'll get you on the Premier League. Have Tim Howard throw you through a table.
100%. 100%.
Content machine flown over here. Jay, let's look at the other side of this game. The value, not value, the bargain shopping quarterback is Brock Purdy. So Brock Purdy comes in at 5,300 for good reason.
Can I take one moment here before we get into Brock Purdy?
Yeah, sure. Take just one moment.
Yeah, go. I just want to apologize to the video editors here at NBC Roto World that are going to have to try to cut around that whole nonsense. I just want to apologize.
Well, they could just skip the entire first 20 minutes of the show.
They're like America. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, Brock Purdy. I think he's in trouble this week. I think it's some matchup against the
bell
Eagles.
finally rings for Brock Purdy here.
The two toughest defensive matchups he's had have been home to the Commanders and home to the Dallas Cowboys. Now he's going on the road at Philadelphia. I've never seen Brock Purdy give up on a play. Yeah, I don't believe he knows how to give up on a play. He'll just wheel around.
He's still scrambling
backwards. Sometimes runs backwards, does full turns outside of the pocket. So I think it's going to be tough sledding for him. Obviously, Shanahan's going to do everything to scheme up as much as possible. But, the Eagles' defense is healthy now, and that's what they weren't the last month of the season. Josh Sweat is back. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson is back. Avonte Maddox probably not, but they are loaded, and this pass rush is going to give Brock Purdy a lot of problems.
Yeah, and speaking on the pass rush, you got 4 guys on this front 4 that has double-digit sacks, right? 39 sacks in 28 quarters. Y'all know that math? I do. That's 5.5 sacks per game, and they sacked Danny Dimes. Don't check it. Just take my word for it. They sacked Danny Dimes 5 times in the wild card round, right? Like you said, this is going to be something he hasn't seen before on the road versus an actual defense who can, they have the ability to play up to the capabilities that Dallas defense played last week. If they play that same defense, I don't expect Jalen Hurts and their offense to be as giving as Dak Prescott was. So, that's why we got Brock Purdy here at such a bargain, and I'm going to stay away from that.
He struggled against the pressure last week against Dallas, right? 3 of 11, 24 yards, 3 sacks when the Cowboys brought pressure. Eagles obviously bring pressure quite a bit, third most in NFL history in terms of the sacks this season. They had 75, and in fact, and to your point, they're healthy. They know this. Nick Sirianni is no moron. They're going to be like, all right, we're bringing pressure against the kid, especially on the road at Philadelphia. What's so great about the Eagles' defense, though, is because they have Slay and Bradbury back there. They can blitz quite a bit. Like, those are two guys that, like, we're okay in single coverage right here. You know what I mean? Like, and they can bring the house against Brock Purdy. Eagles on the season, top 5 in terms of fewest fantasy points allowed to opposing quarterbacks here. So there's no real rushing upside to Brock Purdy. I will say this. I don't think, again, you're really feeling great about Brock Purdy. The two things that I will say here is that, number one, just from an NFL standpoint, everything I'm hearing is that the 49ers plan this offseason is they're going to let go Jimmy Garoppolo. They're going to try to trade him and whatever. And that going into camp, it will literally be a legit battle between Brock Purdy and Trey Lance for the Niners starting quarterback job next year. I will say this. If Brock Purdy goes into Philadelphia and beats the Eagles, leads them to a Super Bowl, and the reason they go to the Super Bowl isn't because he was 3 of 11, but the defense had 2 pick sixes or whatever, like that Brock Purdy is one of the reasons why they went to the Super Bowl, that job's his. I don't know, regardless of what you do in the Super Bowl, if he goes to Philadelphia and beats the Eagles. The other thing is that, to your point about, and we'll talk about some of these position players here, but I just think that Kyle Shanahan's not stupid, and he knows that. And so just as we get into the other players in this game, I think you're going to see a lot of bubble screens to Deebo Samuel. I think you're going to see a lot of dump offs to Christian McCaffrey. You're going to see a lot of stuff trying to get the ball out quickly to counteract what they know is going to be a lot of pressure coming at him.
Yep. Let's get into the skill guys then, because there's a lot of high-priced options. We'll go back to the Eagles first, because 2 premium wide receivers in A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith here, Lawrence, where the price is barely different at all. Brown comes in at $7,000. Devontae Smith comes in at $6,800. Simple as this. Who's the better play between the two this week?
The past couple of weeks I've been going Devontae Smith, and that's formed to be true. This week I'm going to go A.J. Brown. He said a little something this week about wanting to get the ball. He made sure to say, look, I'm not a diva. If I got to block to win, that's what we're going to do, but I want to get the ball. He didn't have to get the ball because the Eagles ran all over the Giants, but prior to his 22-yard week against the Giants, he had 4 straight games of at least 95 receiving yards. So I'm liking him in this game, and like you mentioned earlier, Matthew, they're going to have to throw to win this game because it's going to be too tough to just think you're going to run all over the 49ers run defense.
Yeah, I think with Brown and Smith, the fact that there's only $200 separating them as well, which is a fairly small gap, and it's also not like the Niners play. It's not like they play a ton of man, and Devontae Smith is just going to get Lenoir every play. Like, it is mostly zone stuff, and A.J. Brown's just better than Devontae Smith. Yeah. Devontae Smith's awesome, but A.J. Brown's a different caliber of player.
And he's got more touchdown equity, right? I mean, he's just got a better chance of getting in the end zone. By the way, Niners bottom 10 in the NFL in terms of deep touchdown passes allowed. So certainly could see Brown get into the end zone. The other thing that's nice about Philadelphia is the target tree is fairly narrow. It's really those two guys and Dallas Goedert.
Yep.
Right.
The highest priced player in this game, guys, no surprise, Christian McCaffrey comes in at $8,000. And listen, there's some concerns here at that price. He did not practice Wednesday. He's been dealing with the calf that they showed on the broadcast last week, him nursing the calf when he came to the sidelines. You have Elijah Mitchell getting workload, although he didn't practice either Wednesday. Barry, is that price just simply not worth it at a massive mark of $8,000?
It's probably not worth it in a cash game, right? It's really expensive. Having said that, the problem is that you start looking at the other running backs, right? And you're just like, okay, you're gonna have to pick a Chiefs running back. You got Mixon, who was losing some time to P. Ryan, and then and then on the other side of the ball, you've got. Is it Sanders? Is it Scott? Is it Gainwell? Is it Hurts in terms of how they move the ball running against a tough Niners defense? So whereas I don't think he generally speaking, you usually want like triple the points on DraftKings. Like, so if he's $8,000, you're going to want like 24 fantasy points from Christian McCaffrey, right? With the 49ers this season, he's averaging 22.5 fantasy points per game. So he needs to have kind of a good level. So probably not worth the price. but I don't mind him in a tournament play because I think most people will avoid the high price, and so I don't mind trying to go a little contrarian there.
Yeah, there's the perception as well that the Eagles have a bad run defense, and they did for a stretch, but then they just started signing everyone who's ever been a good run defender in NFL history. Yeah. And after week 11, they were actually a top 10 rushing defense. So it's not going to be easy to run on the Eagles.
Right. And by the way, he may not be 100% healthy. I mean, right again. So he didn't practice. He didn't practice on Wednesday. Under 50 yards rushing in 2 of the last 3. Under 70% of the snaps in 2 of the last 3 as well. You know, so I just, it's pretty pricey in a tough matchup.
Getting some of that work in place of McCaffrey has been Elijah Mitchell, who comes in at just $4,900. Lawrence, any interest there as a bargain play? He does have 50-plus rushing yards in 2 of his last 3 games.
Yeah, speaking of being contrarian in a tournament play, you could go there, you know, but the thing is, we don't know why Elijah, was this part of the game plan? Does it have to do with Christian McCaffrey's injury? They're both a little banged up, so you just don't really know. So it's like Matthew said, when you start looking at the other running backs, like Elijah Mitchell is he's up there with the Chiefs running backs when you're considering guys in some type of timeshare, because they're both a little banged up, both didn't practice. It makes I'd be weary about that a little bit.
All right, 2 lightning rounds here, guys. We'll start with Deebo Samuel and George Kittle. Deebo comes in at $5,700. George Kittle in the tight end position, $5,200. Barry, which one would you roll with?
I actually kind of like both in this game, as you just mentioned, like Avonte Maddox. Like the one area that you can attack Philadelphia is the middle of the field and the slot, because Bradbury and Slay are so good on the perimeter here. But if I had to choose one, Deebo Samuel. Just there's more ways for him to touch the ball. Yeah. Again, I think you'll see a lot of bubble screens. You'll see him in the backfield, especially if McCaffrey's less than 100%. And so for me, he's $500 more than Kittle. But I do think Kittle's interesting too, because he's got a connection there with Brock Purdy. If I have to pick between them, give me Deebo, but I do think both guys are interesting in this game. Prefer both of them to like Brandon Ayuk.
Yeah, both pretty close. I might lean Kittle just because he's $500 cheaper, and I think that with the pass rush, just with Kittle's a big guy who's going over the middle to counteract the pass rush a little bit. Purdy, I think Kittle probably has more touchdown equity as well. He's got multiple touchdowns in 3 games with Purdy, but yeah, it's close. Deebo has more upside, I think, to explode for 150 yards and a touchdown than Kittle does.
The positive on Kittle, 21% target share since week 16 with Brock Purdy under center. The negatives are he's a really good blocker. And again, if they're bringing pressure, they're like, listen, George, stay in line and just chip a guy.
Lawrence, last one here. Brandon Ayuk comes in at $4,400. Dallas Goedert comes in at $4,100. Dallas Goedert, 4 straight games of 40-plus receiving yards.
Yeah, and Goddard being cheaper, I'll take him over Ayuk since he's returned in Week 16. He's getting 5 targets, 4 receptions, and 54 yards a game. Now, in that same span, Ayuk has been better. However, since Deebo Samuel has returned from injury, he's getting 4.5 targets, 3 catches, and 52 yards per game. We don't really love that. I like Goddard, the team that's going to win, the team I feel like has the better offense, so give me Goddard in that situation.
All right, let's close this one out here, guys, looking at the most bet NFC Championship prop board. And Jay, that leads me to ask you, what are your best bets in this game?
So, my 2 best bets in this game, one we just talked about him, George Kittle, over 3.5 receptions. It's just too low. It's George Kittle.
Yeah,
and yes, the over is back to -150, but he's gone over in 6 of Purdy's 7 starts. I think that he will go over. This is the first time that Brock Purdy has ever been an underdog. It's the first time he might have to drop back and throw 45 times. So I think that Kittle will go over 3.5. And then, this is a fun one. This is living. Miles Sanders under 6.5 receiving yards. He hasn't gone over in the past 5 games. He's maxed out at 1 target. He hasn't got multiple targets in any of those games. Niners very good defending running backs in the past game. So Miles Sanders does not get to 7 receiving yards, Connor.
That's the one you sweat until literally the
it's a terrible bet.
Yeah. It's terrible. Happy anytime.
Great for the anxiety.
Yeah.
Great for the anxiety.
But it wins. It wins.
With that, we'll take our first break. When we're back, we're doing the same thing.
By the way,
for Chiefs Bengals with the AFC
throw this
Championship.
out there, if you want to just like Brock Purdy, 8.5 rushing yards, 8.5. Like again,
we know he likes to run around.
Throw a dart.
We know he likes to run around. Exactly.
Run north.
He runs backwards.
Not east and
I
west.
know he runs backwards a lot.
We're back after this.
Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBC Sports and RotoWorld.com. Just want to thank you so much for watching what you just watched, or at least being too lazy to click out of it after the autoplay just kept it going. So either way, thank you so much for just letting it scroll by your screen. And now I'd like to ask you respectfully, okay? Respectfully, please subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel for the latest NFL news, fantasy headlines from Roto-World, and betting analysis from NBC Sports Edge.